What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering, and I am not one to really celebrate someone losing their job. And despite all the vile things that this lead game designer has said, I hope they find employment quickly, and hopefully she'll be able to bounce back quickly. But we also know that the video games industry, in particular the far left side of it, has such a tight clique. She won't be unemployed very long. Now, who is gaming's biggest SJW? Well, it's Jennifer Shirley from ArenaNet, Guild Wars 2. Just to give you an example, this has been going on for many years. We go all the way back to 2018. After Telltale Games announced massive layoffs, a number of people in the gaming industry came together and tried and help newly unemployed developers find work. However, there were also those who took the opportunity to address what they feel is a major problem in the industry. Jennifer Shirley, who describes herself as a multi-award-winning, world-traveling game designer and public speaker who has worked on A-plus release titles since she started working in the industry 6 years ago, took to Twitter to post a lengthy thread about how game companies should stop favoring angry gamers over their own employees. I want our game companies to stop favoring angry gamers over their own employees, over our health, over our well-being, and over our jobs. Not demanding better of your communities is patronizing. Well, you know, angry gamers are the ones that buy your video games. It's always an interesting thing. We saw this with Spotify employees, too, whinging and crying about Joe Rogan, which has largely now stopped and disappeared from the headlines, maybe because someone reminded them that Joe Rogan's existence is what pays their salary. Now, she focuses on the idea that gaming companies are favoring angry player base over its employees. She specifically points at angry gamers. However, is this really true? In the past few months, we've seen Battlefield 5 developers tell their customers to not buy the game. That was followed up by Creative Assembly's Total War Rome 2's community editor doing almost the exact same thing. While Total War Rome 2 is a little more isolated from customer dissatisfaction, even though the game was released back in 2013, just after EA insulted their customers, a report came back showing Battlefield 5 was lagging in pre-order sales. It's quite possibly the game developers that might want to listen to their angry gamers and understand what they want out of a game. In fact, if they did more listening to the quote angry gamers, I bet their sales would increase and thus they can take better care of their employees. You can see what a rough couple of months, layoffs, no severance, companies wanting to finish a game before paying their laid off workers, people being fired over angry hate mobs demanding their heads like effing me. I'm so tired of this theme over and over again. Well, Jennifer has a long and illustrious history of antagonizing gamers now and her customers. She has 100% every right to have her opinion, 100%. However, people then have 100% right to disagree with it. They have the same right to not buy their games. They have the same right to lash out angrily in text form on Twitter. The theme being that the satisfaction of our audience always comes before us. That's how it should be. That their demands dictate whether we have jobs. That's how it should be. What we get to make and how we get treated. Demanding better from our audiences alone probably makes me a gamer hater in most people's eyes. No, you just do your job. It's pretty simple. This is somebody who, has had a long history of other. Remember this? In June, this year, Shirley garnered widespread criticism after stating that her, quote, worst nightmare was for men falsely accused of misconduct to, quote, have all the receipts ready to discredit. You mean prove their innocence? This is what this person wrote in June this year. I need to leave. I need to go outside and breathe. I can't see this. Men having all the receipts ready to discredit the people they hurt. All of your alarm bells should go off. This is my worst nightmare. This is why I will never say what happened to me. Well, were you gonna lie?
The color of this pen is
I'm not kidding. That's her exact statement. It is Jennifer's worst nightmare that a wrongfully accused man would have the evidence to clear their name. Again, her worst nightmare. So anyway, she's had some nuclear hot takes. Now Jennifer Shirley, now former lead designer for Guild Wars 2 and ArenaNet, has been let go from the company as a part of, quote, an alleged reshuffling of projects. Shirley broke the news of her departure on October 14th, informing her followers on Twitter that she had Quote, lost my job at ArenaNet as of today as part of a reshuffling of projects, and now looking for a job as a game designer pretty much immediately. I'm sure she'll find one because the industry is so incestuous that, you know, I'm sure she knows somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody who will she'll just walk into another job. She writes, quote, I need to find a job that takes over my visa within 60 days. Explained Shirley. Otherwise, I need to leave the country. Oh. Don't tease me. Don't tease me. 59 days to go. According to Shirley, she was laid off on the spot in what she described as a traumatizing experience, wherein she was locked out of my work computer within 10 minutes, and I didn't even get a chance to say goodbye to my colleagues. Well, that's how it works. I've been laid off. I've also laid people off. It sucks. And I do honestly empathize a little bit because it can be traumatic. I've seen grown men break down and cry. I remember when I got laid off, it was this weird moment where like we had this meeting. I got called into a meeting. My whole department got axed. We got called in the meeting, and of course HR was there, so we knew right away. I knew right away. I've been around the business long enough. I've done layoffs. I knew what was coming. To me, it was actually a blessing in disguise because what it did was allow me to work on my YouTube channel more. See, I have a search marketing agency, but this client was one that I worked indoors, like they wanted me on site all the time. I took it because it paid very well and allowed me to, you know, erase my student debt and my college loans and things like that. But it did suck getting laid off. I was in a much better position than a lot of my colleagues because I just got to come home and tighten the belt a little bit, make some more YouTube videos to offset it. But it sucks. Now, the video game industry is the only one where apparently you can just openly antagonize your customers and mock them, and you're not punished for it. You know, and you know, again, we see here, aside from her game design work, Shirley is perhaps best known for her campaign against the honoring of Atari co-founder Noel Bushnell by the Game Developers Conference, wherein she alleged that various women had come to her with stories claiming that he was a meanie. Of course, however, when pressed for the names, Shirley refused to provide them. Earlier this year, she also falsely accused an innocent man of committing vehicular bad behavior against a pair of BLM protesters in Seattle, claiming that the incident was an example of white supremacy, despite being presented with evidence to the contrary. She concluded her thoughts on her departure by thanking the absolutely wonderful people who reached out to her and directed recruiters with an interest in hiring me to contact her through LinkedIn. Holy crap, people still use LinkedIn? She says, you are absolutely wonderful people. Thank you. I need to have a good cry before I can focus on replying to you all. I also don't have access to a computer right now that I was locked off from my work one, so doing it all on my phone is a little slower. You don't own a computer? You're the lead developer for a company you don't own a computer?
What's wrong with you?
Not even you could buy a $300 Chromebook. Whatever. Really overwhelmed with all the messages on my platforms right now. I'm only back on my phone, so it might take a minute to get back. If you're a recruiter with interest in hiring me, the flood of messages here, LinkedIn is the best way to contact me. Well, you know, it'll be interesting where she ends up. I'm guessing goodbye and good riddance. Don't let the door hit you with a good Lord split you. Yeah, no one cares. I'm guessing that she'll end up at a company like Naughty Dog or another kind of far left-leaning game developer, and she'll get right back to antagonizing customers again with no understanding at all of the potential consequences. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.